Torn apart. Chapter 21. Served. Monday morning began like any other. Ethan was pouring coffee when someone knocked on his apartment door. He wasn't expecting anyone. When he opened it, a man in a gray suit stood holding a large envelope. Ethan Morgan? Yes. You've been served. The words landed like a punch to the chest. Ethan accepted the envelope with trembling hands. The process server nodded politely and walked away. For several minutes, Ethan simply stared at the papers. Claire had filed for divorce. She wasn't bluffing. She wasn't waiting. She was moving forward without him. His phone buzzed. Vanessa, did everything go okay this morning? Ethan ignored the message. Instead, he flipped through the paperwork. Requests for custody, child support, division of assets, temporary possession of the family home. Every page reminded him that his old life was disappearing. Across town, Claire sat quietly at work when Angela called. He accepted the papers. Claire closed her eyes. So, it's official. It is. Neither woman spoke for several seconds. Finally, Claire whispered, I never imagined my marriage would end this way. Torn apart. Chapter 22. A new routine. The children were trying to adjust. Every other Wednesday and alternating weekends. That was the temporary visitation schedule until the court hearing. Noah packed his backpack with excitement. I get to see Dad. Lily zipped her own bag without saying a word. Claire knelt beside them. You can call me anytime. Noah smiled. I know. Lily simply nodded. When Ethan arrived, Noah raced into his arms. Lily walked slowly behind. The drive to Ethan's apartment was painfully quiet. Noah chatted about school, about soccer, about a new video game. Lily stared silently out the window. At the apartment, Ethan proudly showed them their bedrooms. I wanted you both to feel at home. Noah loved the superhero bedding. Lily looked around the plain room. This isn't home. She set her backpack on the floor but never unpacked it. That evening, Ethan ordered pizza. Noah laughed. Lily barely touched her food. As bedtime approached, Ethan realized something. He could furnish bedrooms. He could buy toys. But he couldn't recreate the life they had lost. Torn apart. Chapter 23. Vanessa's mistake. Vanessa arrived carrying a bag of cookies. I thought it would be nice to meet the kids. Ethan hesitated. I'm not sure this is the right time. They'll have to meet me eventually. Against his better judgment, Ethan agreed. Noah smiled politely. Hi. Lily didn't. Vanessa held out the cookies. I baked these for you. Lily looked at the bag. Then at Vanessa. My mom bakes cookies. The room fell silent. Vanessa forced a smile. I know this is difficult. No, Lily replied quietly. You don't. She turned and walked into her bedroom, closing the door. Noah looked confused. Ethan sighed. Maybe today wasn't a good idea. Vanessa frowned. I was only trying to be nice. Ethan rubbed his forehead. My daughter isn't ready. Vanessa crossed her arms. When will she be? Ethan didn't answer. Because he didn't know. Torn apart. Chapter 24. Lines in the sand. Claire's parents invited her and the children to dinner. The house was warm and familiar. For a few hours, everyone laughed. Until Ethan's name came up. He made his choice, Claire's father said firmly. He doesn't deserve another chance. Claire remained quiet. Megan reached across the table and squeezed her sister's hand. We're here for you. Lily looked down at her plate. I don't hate Dad. Everyone looked at her. But I don't trust him anymore. The honesty in her voice broke Claire's heart. Later that night, Noah climbed into Claire's lap. Can we all be together again someday? Claire hugged him tightly. I don't know, sweetheart. It wasn't the answer you wanted. But it was the only honest one she had. Torn apart. Chapter 25. The first court date. The courthouse felt cold. Claire arrived with Angela. Ethan entered a few minutes later with his attorney. For a brief moment, their eyes met. Neither smiled. Neither looked away. When the judge entered, everyone stood. The hearing was brief. Temporary custody. Financial disclosures. Mediation. Deadlines. As the attorneys spoke, Claire watched Ethan. He looked exhausted. Older than he had only a month ago. The judge addressed them directly. Whatever happened in your marriage, your children deserve stability. Both parents nodded. They should never be placed in the middle of this conflict. Claire silently agreed. Ethan did too. But as they exited the courtroom, Vanessa appeared at the far end of the hallway. She had come to support Ethan. Claire saw her immediately. So did Lily, who had been waiting with Megan. The 12-year-old froze. Then she turned and walked away, tears streaming down her face. Ethan called after her. Lily. She never looked back. For the first time, even Vanessa realized the cost of the choices that had been made. And the custody battle had only just begun. Torn apart. Chapter 26. The mediation. The conference room was small, quiet, and painfully uncomfortable. A long table separated Claire and Ethan. Between them sat the court-appointed mediator, Denise Harper. "This meeting is confidential," Denise began. "My goal is to help you reach agreements without returning to court." Claire nodded. Ethan folded his hands. For nearly an hour they discussed schedules. School holidays, summer vacation, birthdays. Every simple family tradition had suddenly become a legal negotiation. "I'd like equal parenting time," Ethan said. Claire looked directly at him. "The children need stability. They need both of us. They needed both of us before you chose someone else." The room fell silent. Denise gently interrupted. "We're here to discuss parenting, not blame." Claire took a deep breath. "I know, but separating the two felt impossible." By the end of the session, nothing had been resolved. As they walked out, Ethan quietly said, "I'm trying." Claire stopped walking. "No, Ethan." She looked into his eyes. "You're trying now." Then she continued toward the parking lot, leaving him standing alone. Chapter 27. Noah's Wish. At school, Noah's teacher handed each student a sheet of paper. "Draw your family." Most children immediately began coloring. Noah hesitated. Finally, he drew two houses. One house had Mommy. The other had Daddy. Between them stood himself and Lily. Instead of smiling, every person in the drawing wore a sad face. When his teacher asked about it, Noah shrugged. "My family used to live together." That afternoon, the teacher quietly called Claire. "There isn't a problem at school," she explained gently. "I just wanted you to know Noah seems to be carrying a lot emotionally." Claire thanked her before hanging up. That evening, Noah climbed onto the couch beside her. "Mom?" "Yes?" "Did Dad stop loving us?" Claire's heart shattered. She wrapped him in her arms. "No, sweetheart." "Then why did he leave?" Claire searched for words that an 8-year-old could understand. Sometimes adults make choices that hurt the people they love. Noah nodded slowly. "I wish he hadn't." "So do I." Chapter 28. A Secret Credit Card. Angela called Claire early Friday morning. "I found something." Claire drove straight to her office. Angela slid another stack of financial records across the desk. This credit card wasn't listed in Ethan's financial disclosure. Claire stared at the statements. Luxury restaurants, jewelry stores, weekend hotel stays, designer boutiques. Most of the charges dated back months. Before Ethan had confessed. Before Claire knew anything. He paid for all of this? Angela nodded. With marital funds. Claire felt anger replacing sadness. Every expensive dinner, every hotel room, every gift. Their family's money had funded the affair. Angela closed the folder. If the court determines he intentionally hid these expenses, it could affect the property division. Claire wasn't thinking about money anymore. She was thinking about trust. Every page was another lie. Chapter 29. Lily Speaks. Saturday afternoon brought another visit with Ethan. This time, Lily surprised everyone. "I'll come." Claire looked at her carefully. "Are you sure?" Lily nodded. "I need to talk to him." The drive was silent. Once Noah wandered into the living room to watch television, Lily faced her father. "I have one question." Ethan nodded. "Anything. When did you stop loving Mom?" "I never stopped caring about her." "That's not what I asked." He looked away. Lily continued. "You looked at Mom every day and lied." Tears filled Ethan's eyes. "I know. You looked at Noah and me and lied too." "I know. So how am I ever supposed to believe anything you say again?" The question hung in the room. Ethan searched for an answer. There wasn't one. Lily stood. "I hope someday I can forgive you." She paused at the bedroom door. "But today isn't that day." Chapter 30. The Custody Evaluator. The court-appointed child psychologist, Dr. Elena Matthews, arrived the following week. Her role was simple in theory. Determine what arrangement was in the children's best interests. In reality, nothing about it was simple. She met first with Claire. Then Ethan. Finally, she spent time with Lily and Noah separately. There were no right answers. Only honest ones. Later that afternoon, Dr. Matthews sat alone writing notes. She observed two loving parents. One who had betrayed the marriage. One who was carrying enormous emotional pain. She observed two children. One desperately hoping for reconciliation. The other struggling to trust again. When she closed her notebook, she knew this case would not be decided by who loved the children more. Both parents clearly did. The question was whether they could put the children's needs ahead of their own hurt. Outside the courthouse, Claire and Ethan crossed paths once more. Neither spoke, but both knew the evaluator's report could shape the rest of their children's childhood. And the waiting had become its own kind of punishment. Chapter 31. The Court Filings. Monday morning, Angela called Claire before she left for work. The discovery documents arrived. Claire drove to Angela's office that afternoon, where two thick binders sat on the conference table. "These are everything?" Claire asked. Angela shook her head. "Everything Ethan disclosed." The distinction mattered. Together, they reviewed tax returns, investment statements, retirement accounts, mortgage records, and business documents. Several items raised questions. "There are transfers between accounts that aren't fully explained," Angela said, making notes in the margin. Claire stared at the numbers. "I never paid attention to any of this. Ethan handled our finances." "That's common," Angela replied. "Now it's our job to make sure the court has the complete picture." As Claire left the office, she realized the divorce wasn't just ending a marriage. It was uncovering years of decisions she had never been part of. Chapter 32. Family Dinner. Ethan's parents invited him to dinner. The atmosphere was tense from the moment he arrived. His mother set plates on the table without her usual cheerful conversation. His father finally broke the silence. "How are the kids?" "They're struggling." His mother looked at him with tears in her eyes. "They're not the only ones." Ethan lowered his head. "I know. You made a choice," his father said quietly. "Now you have to live with the consequences." "I love my children. No one doubts that." His father leaned forward. "But loving them also means accepting responsibility for what happened." For the first time in weeks, Ethan felt like someone wasn't attacking him. They were simply telling him the truth. When dinner ended, his mother hugged him. "Fight for your relationship with Lily and Noah," she whispered. "But don't make them fight for you." Those words stayed with him all the way home. Chapter 33. Vanessa's Doubts. Vanessa sat alone in Ethan's apartment. The silence felt different now. When the affair had been secret, every meeting had been exciting. Now everything seemed ordinary. Ethan spent most evenings answering emails from attorneys or reviewing court paperwork. Some nights he barely spoke. "You've been somewhere else all week," Vanessa said. "My kids need me." "They're with Claire." "They're still my kids." Vanessa looked away. She had imagined that once the marriage ended, Ethan would finally be happy. Instead, he seemed more burdened than ever. "Do you regret leaving?" Ethan hesitated. "I regret hurting them." It wasn't the answer she wanted. For the first time since they met, Vanessa wondered whether their relationship had been built on fantasy instead of reality. Chapter 34. Noah's Soccer Game. Saturday brought Noah's biggest soccer game of the season. Claire arrived early with Lily. A few minutes later, Ethan walked onto the field from the opposite parking lot. For an awkward moment, both parents stood watching warm-ups from different sidelines. Noah spotted them. He smiled. "They both came," he told his coach proudly. Throughout the game, Claire applauded every play. So did Ethan. When Noah scored his first goal, both parents stood and cheered at the same time. For a brief moment, the anger disappeared. After the game, Noah ran toward them with his medal. "Did you see it?" "We sure did," Claire said. "You were amazing," Ethan added. Noah grinned. "I wish we could celebrate together." The smile faded from both parents' faces. Claire glanced at Ethan. He understood. Some wishes couldn't be granted. Not anymore. Chapter 35. The Unexpected Email. Late Sunday evening, Angela sent Claire an email marked urgent. Claire opened it immediately. Attached was a document obtained during financial discovery. A series of business emails. One message caught her attention. It had been sent nearly a year earlier. The subject line read, "Transfer before she notices." Claire's heart raced. She forwarded the message to Angela. Within minutes, the phone rang. "I've reviewed it," Angela said. "If this email means what I think it means, it could become very important." Claire sat silently. "So, there's still more I don't know." "I believe there is." After ending the call, Claire looked around the quiet house. She thought the affair had been the biggest secret in her marriage. Now she wasn't so sure. Somewhere in the thousands of pages of financial records and emails, another truth was waiting to be uncovered. And whatever it was, it had the potential to change everything. Claire barely slept the night before Dr. Elena Matthews was scheduled to visit. She woke before sunrise, made coffee, and wandered through the quiet house. Every room reminded her that today wasn't about impressing anyone, it was about proving that this home remained a place where Lily and Noah felt secure. She straightened the living room anyway. She wiped fingerprints from the kitchen table. Not because the house needed it. Because it gave her something to do while her nerves settled. Lily entered the kitchen wearing jeans and an oversized sweatshirt. "You've already cleaned everything twice," she said. Claire laughed softly. "Was it that obvious?" "A little." Lily poured herself a bowl of cereal before looking at her mother. "Are you scared?" Claire considered lying. Instead, she nodded. "A little. I'm scared too." Claire reached across the table and squeezed her daughter's hand. You don't have to say anything that makes me look good. Lily frowned. What? When Dr. Matthews talks to you, just tell the truth. What if the truth hurts someone? Claire smiled sadly. The truth usually does. At 10 o'clock, Dr. Matthews arrived carrying a notebook instead of a briefcase. She greeted everyone warmly. I'm not here to judge anyone, she explained. I'm here to understand your family. The interview began with Claire. They spoke about routines, homework, bedtimes, doctor appointments, birthday traditions, simple things that quietly form the foundation of a child's life. What changed after Ethan moved out? Dr. Matthews asked. Claire hesitated. The house became quieter. In what way? The kids stopped laughing as much. She paused. Noah still laughs, but not the way he used to. And Lily? Claire looked toward the hallway. She grew up too quickly. Later, Dr. Matthews sat with Lily alone on the back porch. No one will be angry with you for answering honestly, she assured her. Lily nodded. I know. What do you love about your dad? The question surprised her. He always helped with science projects. A faint smile appeared. He never missed my soccer games. What makes you sad? Lily looked toward the yard. He lied every day. Silence settled between them. I don't know how to forget that. Dr. Matthews wrote a single sentence in her notebook. Trust, once broken, is difficult for this child to rebuild. Noah's interview was very different. He showed Dr. Matthews his favorite dinosaur collection. He talked about soccer, his dog, his best friend. Then, without warning, he asked a question. If I tell you I want mom and dad to live together again, can you make that happen? Dr. Matthews felt her heart ache. I wish I could. Noah nodded. I knew you'd say that. As the afternoon ended, Dr. Matthews thanked Claire for her time. Driving away, she replayed the conversations in her mind. Neither parent had spoken badly about the other in front of the children. That mattered, but she also saw two children carrying burdens far heavier than they should. And she wasn't finished yet. Tomorrow she would visit Ethan. She wondered whether she would find the same honesty there. Chapter 37. Cracks in the case. Ethan spent nearly an hour cleaning his apartment before Dr. Matthews arrived. Vanessa offered to help. I think I should leave before she gets here. Ethan nodded. I think that's best. Vanessa picked up her purse. When do you think they'll be ready to meet me again? Ethan looked away. I don't know. She wanted to ask more. Instead, she quietly left. When Dr. Matthews arrived, she immediately noticed framed photographs throughout the apartment. Most were of Lily and Noah. A few were older family pictures that still included Claire. You haven't replaced those, she observed. Ethan followed her gaze. I couldn't. The interview began much like Claire's. Questions about parenting, school, medical appointments, weekend routines. Then the conversation shifted. What led to the end of your marriage? Ethan lowered his eyes. My choices. You accept responsibility? Yes. Without blaming Claire? He nodded. I broke our marriage. Dr. Matthews wrote another note. Accepts responsibility without minimizing behavior. Later that afternoon, Lily and Noah arrived for their scheduled visit. Noah immediately gave his father a hug. Lily offered a polite hello. Nothing more. Dr. Matthews observed quietly as they played a board game together. Ethan encouraged Noah when he lost. He congratulated Lily when she won. The interaction felt natural, comfortable. Then Ethan made a mistake. I was thinking maybe the four of us could go to the zoo sometime. Lily looked confused. The four of us? You, Noah, me. He hesitated. And Vanessa. The room became painfully still. Lily slowly placed her game piece back on the board. I don't want to. You don't even know her. I know enough. Lily. No. Her voice remained calm. I already have a mom. She stood and quietly walked into her bedroom. A moment later, the door closed. No slamming. No yelling. Just silence. Sometimes silence hurt more than anger. Dr. Matthews wrote another note. Children should not feel pressured to accept major relationship changes before they are emotionally ready. That evening, after the children returned to Claire's house, Ethan sat alone in his apartment. His phone buzzed. It was a message from Jordan. Call me. It's important. Ethan dialed immediately. What happened? Jordan didn't waste time. I heard investigators have been asking questions about some of your business accounts. Ethan froze. What? I don't know everything yet. A long silence followed. Then Jordan spoke quietly. If you've hidden anything besides the affair. He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. For the first time, Ethan realized the custody battle might not be his only fight. Outside his apartment window, dark clouds rolled across the evening sky. The storm gathering over his family was growing larger by the day. Chapter 38. Ethan's gamble. Ethan barely slept after Jordan's phone call. He sat at his kitchen table long after midnight, staring at a stack of financial records. His untouched coffee had gone cold hours earlier. Could Jordan be right? Had someone started asking questions? He told himself it was probably nothing. Businesses were audited all the time. Accountants asked questions. Banks requested documentation. Still, the knot in his stomach refused to loosen. The next morning, he drove to his attorney's office. His lawyer, Richard Collins, studied Ethan's expression before speaking. "You look like you haven't slept." "I haven't." Richard closed the file he had been reading. "What's going on?" Ethan hesitated. "My brother said people have been asking questions about my business accounts." Richard leaned back in his chair. "What kind of questions?" "I don't know." "Then don't panic until you know more." Ethan nodded, but his anxiety remained. Richard slid another folder across the desk. "The custody hearing is next week. That's where your focus needs to be." Ethan opened the folder. Inside were letters from teachers, coaches, neighbors, and family friends describing him as an involved father. He smiled faintly. "They all wrote these?" Richard nodded. "No one disputes that you love your children." The words offered little comfort. "They're angry with me. They're hurt," Richard corrected. "Those aren't always the same thing." That evening Ethan called Lily. To his surprise, she answered. Hi. Neither spoke for several seconds. "I wanted to tell you I'm coming to your band concert next Thursday." "You don't have to." "I want to. You missed a lot of things before." The words weren't shouted. They were spoken quietly. That somehow hurt even more. "I know. I have to finish my homework." "Lily. Good night, Dad." The line went dead. Ethan lowered the phone. Winning a custody case suddenly seemed much easier than rebuilding his daughter's trust. Chapter 39. Vanessa's breaking point. Vanessa stood in Ethan's apartment staring at a framed family photograph. Claire, Ethan, Lily, Noah, a smiling family at the beach. She picked it up. "You still have these?" Ethan looked over from the kitchen. "They're pictures of my kids. They're pictures of your marriage." He walked over and gently took the frame from her hands. "They're memories." Vanessa folded her arms. "You keep talking about the past. My children are part of my past and my future. I'm talking about Claire." Silence filled the apartment. Vanessa had tried to be patient. She had waited through secret meetings, through late-night excuses, through months of promises. Now the divorce was underway, yet Ethan still seemed emotionally tied to the family he had left behind. "I feel like I'm competing with ghosts," she admitted. Ethan sighed. "This isn't a competition, isn't it?" She looked around the apartment. "The kids don't want me here. They're struggling. Your daughter won't even look at me. She's 12. Vanessa shook her head. "No, Ethan." She pointed toward the family photograph. "You keep expecting everyone else to move forward while you're still looking backward." Her words lingered long after she left. For the first time since their relationship began, Ethan wondered whether they wanted the same future. Chapter 40. The temporary custody hearing. The courthouse was already busy when Claire arrived. Angela met her near the entrance. "How are you feeling?" Claire managed a nervous smile. "I'll let you know when it's over." Across the hallway, Ethan stood beside Richard. Neither parent approached the other. There was nothing left to say before walking into court. Judge Lawson entered promptly at 9 o'clock. Everyone stood. After reviewing the case, she addressed both attorneys. "My priority is the welfare of these children." Angela called Claire to testify first. Claire answered questions calmly. She described homework routines, doctor appointments, school activities, bedtime rituals. She never raised her voice. Never insulted Ethan. When asked whether she believed Ethan loved the children, she answered honestly. "Yes." Angela looked surprised. "You believe he loves them?" "Without question." "Then why are you requesting primary physical custody?" Claire took a slow breath. "Because love alone doesn't create stability." The courtroom fell silent. Richard later questioned Ethan. "Have you remained actively involved in your children's lives?" "Yes." "Do you wish to continue doing so?" "More than anything." Angela rose for cross-examination. "Mr. Morgan, did your affair contribute to the breakdown of your marriage?" "Yes." "Did your children become aware of that affair?" "Yes." "Do you regret that?" "Every day." Angela paused before asking her final question. "Mr. Morgan, if you could go back and change one decision, would you?" Without hesitation, Ethan answered. "Yes." His voice cracked. "I'd choose my family." Claire looked down at the table. For the first time since the divorce began, she believed he meant it. But meaning it now couldn't erase what had already happened. After several hours of testimony, Judge Lawson reviewed her notes. "This is one of the more emotionally difficult cases I've handled." She looked directly at Claire and Ethan. It is clear that both parents love these children. She paused. It is equally clear that these children have experienced significant emotional upheaval. The courtroom became perfectly still. I will issue a temporary custody order within 48 hours. The gavel struck. Court was adjourned. Outside the courthouse, reporters weren't waiting. There were no television cameras. Only two parents walking in opposite directions. Neither knew what the judge's decision would be. Neither knew how much their lives were about to change. But both understood one thing. The hardest part of their journey was still ahead.